Hello, this is Christy. In today's Camtasia 2020 tutorial, we will look at how we can use the resize, cropping, cutting, and overlaying of videos to achieve very interesting effects with multiple videos playing on the screen at the same time, and even animate these as they change from one size to another, one location to another, as we bring in more videos into the scene. So instead of just using Camtasia with one clip playing on the timeline at once and then, adding some text or something, you can achieve very nice and interesting effects that will allow you to create sort of like an effect where you have multiple speakers on the screen at the same time, or maybe bring them in to create that old TV show kind of or movie effect where it appears like two people are talking on the phone to each other and you can see both of them kind of sliding in and out of the screen. So let's have a look at how this is achieved. We are going to use a few video clips that I downloaded on Pexels. These are free videos, and you can turn on the thumbnail view in Camtasia here on the media library to view them as a thumbnail. So I'm going to start with one video filling the entire canvas and then bring in other videos as we work through this. And I'm going to show you how you can animate and cut them to fit perfectly in place. So let's start with one video here. This is about 16 seconds long. I'm going to just put this on the canvas here. It happens to be HD, so it fills my canvas completely. And if you, for some reason, need to start with a different size screen, you can go to this drop down at the top here and go to project settings, and this is where you can change the size of your canvas. So make sure that your canvas is the exact size you want and the frame rate is the one you want. Sometimes Camtasia, what it does is, if you import a new video clip that has a different size from the one in your canvas, the moment you place that onto your timeline or on your canvas, it will automatically change the size of your canvas to match that first clip. So make sure you don't have this problem where you don't realize that your canvas has just been changed to the clip you just put there. So before editing, just make sure that you go in here and you put the correct size in there. Click apply there. So this is my video clip. I'm going to just play this right now. I'm going to turn off the sound because we don't care about the sound now. So here's the video clip. This lady is talking on the phone. The frame, I've chosen this video because she kind of tends to stay in the same position. So the video is framed in the same place. That is not a big issue because you can then later change this if you want. So there you go. So what we want to achieve is somewhere like a few seconds in, we want to bring in another video on the left side here to appear like this person is talking to that person, right? So if you bring in, just move the playheads a few seconds in here. So let's bring this other clip right here with this man talking. Now it is on the top, so you notice that of course the new video has covered the previous video, right? So that's not good, obviously. So the first cut we want to learn is how to make both of these videos show up on screen at the same time. This is, if you resize it, like I select this video and just drag the handles, obviously it's gonna make everything smaller, so that's not what I want. I want them to be half and half, right? So if I pull the sides, Camtasia is obviously going to keep the ratio of the clip and still resize the video. So the way to do this is actually to use the cropping tool. So to do this, it's very easy. At the top here, instead of the selection and the pan tool, we use the crop tool. Click on this, and now the selected video, so make sure you select the video, of course, the selected video becomes croppable. So I can cut, from the side here, I want to just cut this horizontally, and there you go. My video is going to give room to the other video. If it doesn't fit, like here, this is going to cut this person. So what I want to do is actually resize it. So you can crop it like this, right? Or you can go back to the resize and or move, because we want to keep the top and the bottom area of this clip aligned to the frames. So first of all, let's move the clip to the left so it kind of goes out of your canvas. If you don't have room for this, you can use the mouse wheel to scroll back, so then you zoom out. So this is the part of, this is as far as I want to go here without cutting this person out of the frame. If it helps, you can maybe look at this like half and half. So go to the cropping again and pull the edge here, and you notice that Camtasia is going to snap to the middle of the canvas. So that is obviously helpful. Go back to the move mode. I noticed that I have moved the video vertically a bit. I'm going to pull it down again so that it fits here. Now, this lady here, I want her, of course, the video with the lady is behind. So what I want to do is I wanted to move and reframe her as well. So now I'm going to move her to the side here. And again, use the crop tool to pull this handle here until I align it with the other one. Let's see what we have achieved now. You can notice both video clips are playing at the same time. We don't care about the fact that they are both talking at the same time. We don't care about the audio right now. But if you had a video with people kind of talking and having a dialogue, obviously they would be alternating in speaking to each other. So that is not a problem. Now, what happens if I actually want to bring in the second person in an animated way? So look, this is now playing here, and before the new person comes in, there's half a screen is empty. So we want to use the animation to bring in the new person, and before the new person comes in, we want the first person to take up the entire screen. So let me go back now to the start, and I haven't added any animation to my timeline, so I can actually just go back and uncrop everything. So again, the first person is filling the full screen, and the second person is again actually, because this second person is going to come in later, I can leave this person framed as they are. So but just to illustrate, I'm going to pull them onto the left now, so they are out of the screen, right? So we want to start the transition here, right? 2 seconds in. So of course there's no animation on my timeline now, so the first person is just playing here. The second person is out of the canvas, so you can't see them. So how do I bring them in? Well, we can actually create animation with the cropping function. So the animation in Camtasia doesn't just animate position and rotation and other properties. Also, it thankfully animates cropping operations. So what I want to do is right here before this person comes in, I want to zoom in a bit. I want to add a custom animation to the track with the lady. So I'm going to go to animations, go to animations here, and pull this custom animation onto the timeline. Don't worry about the position, because animations can be moved left and right, you know, to start earlier or, you know, later. So just drag the animation here, and let's move this person to where we want them to be after the second person has come in, right? So this is a part where we first move. So notice my clip is selected, my final animation keyframe is red, which means that's the ending point of my animation. So what I want to do is just move this person all the way here, and at the same time crop, go into crop mode and crop to about half, right? So exactly half of the canvas. So this is what happens now at the beginning of this animation. Look at my clip moving and cropping in position where exactly where I want it to be. The second thing I want to do is, while this is happening, I want the second person to slide in, right? So I want to grab a custom animation and put it onto the second person clip right here. And you can use the arrow keys, by the way, to slide, to move a clip horizontally. And you just use the animation keys up and down, left and right, the arrow keys. And if you want it to move faster, you just hold down the shift key, and then it moves in larger increments. But because I want it to snap, I want to grab the mouse and just slide all the way here until I see the snapping lines. There you go. So let's see what happens now, because maybe I need to synchronize it a little bit. So let's see. Okay, the first clip is zooming and the second one comes in a bit late. Now what I want to do is maybe move the clip left, or if I really care about what people are saying on the video, I don't want to move them out of sync with each other. In that case, I'm going to move the first animation to match the same sort of time span here. Right, let's see if we did the trick now. All right, there is still a bit of a distance between them because they might have a what's called easing. So if you right click on the animation, if you don't see it in my video, let me just pull it up a bit. So right clicking on the animation turns on the enable easing function here, so we can maybe just make it linear. So both of them should be linear, which means they are moving at a constant speed, so there's not going to be any distance between them in the middle, right? So let's pull the window back down a bit. Okay, let's see what the animation does now. Okay, there is still a bit of dark area between my clips. If I slide in, you notice there is a bit of a space there. So if I want to eliminate that, probably I want to make this second clip come in a bit earlier than the first animation. So I'm just going to slide it in until they match. So look at this. Right? So there you go. The second clip slides into place and the first clip moves all the way. Let's see it again. There you have it. So there you go. That's the first time. Now, what happens if we, let's say we want to introduce 2 more people in this discussion? Well, that's going to be a tough one, isn't it? So the way to do that is, let's say we want to introduce a third person, and that third person is going to share the screen with the second person right here. So let's say this second person is going to move up, and the third person is going to slide in from the bottom maybe, right? So how do we do that? The same way, basically. We just use animations. I'm going to make a little more room in here. We just use animations to move the objects where we want them to end up. So let's suppose that here we want to bring in the third person. First of all, I'm going to have to make room on the screen. So let's drag another custom animation onto the second person clip here. And of course, moving them up, sliding them up is not going to help too much because they are now tall. It's a tall image here. So what I want to do is, again, position the person again in the right place and also use the cropping to adjust them. So I'm going to move it up, resize. And again, you may actually have to bring back some of that video that you've removed, right? So let's use the crop tool. Let's make the video go back to the full size and also go to resizing again, place it in the corner and resize it to fit that one. So now, because my video is HD, it's going to fit exactly aspect ratio in the quadrant there. So I have room now to bring in another person in. So watch what happened now with this video, right? So here is the original position. If I click play, it's going to slide in and out. If you don't want to show the entire video screen, that is not a problem. You just go back here and you make sure you position your playhead after the ending of the animation, or anywhere after this red dot. And you can again go into the crop mode and crop a bit from the bottom and resize, bring it again to match half, and then use the crop tool again to crop the extra stuff. So there you go. It's not very perfectly framed, but you get the idea. So now the video is going to slide in the same exact place where we put it. So there you go. Right, so it zooms out a bit. Maybe we could do a better job about framing the person a bit to the left so that it's centered. To do that very easily, if you're not happy with it, all you have to do is just put the person where you want them to be and pull the cropping again out and this other cropping in. or you can leave it off screen anyway. So there you go. That's going to be perfect now. So starting here, the person moves there, and now we need to bring the third person in, which is going to fill this black spot here. Again, we go to the media bin. Let's bring this other person in here. So they are going to occupy this position. And let me give you a tip. It's easier to actually start with the ending point of where you want the video to be, and then pull back and animate it back to where it starts. So what I mean by this is, we put this new video in here. I'm going to go to the resizing and just resize it. It's actually much smaller than it should be, right? So to do this, first of all, let's start them here where we want to, where we start the animation. So obviously now this third video just comes in and just sits there, right? So we want to animate it, but because we are not sure about the place where they're going to end up, we do that first. We just go to the final point first and make sure we frame the video properly, exactly where it needs to be with the resize tool. So let's say that I'm happy with this now. Well, I'm going to put an animation now on it. Yeah, make sure my ending animation matches the ending of the other one to start. But now, if you pull back to the starting point here, you move your playhead here, right? Now I can make changes to this video clip to say, push it down off the screen. And that's still going to remember your start point and your ending point. You're not going to mess up the animation at the end. So look, watch this. The first video goes up and the second video just comes in properly, just like the other one. Okay, it may be a bit late, so you notice again that sort of a black margin. All I have to do is just pull the animation here so it's a little earlier, right? There you go. So you can play with this. All right, so there you have it. Now let's play this part. So we go back in here, play. There you go. The third person comes in perfectly, right? So now we have 3 clips on my timeline. Let's watch the whole thing for up to now. So there you go. The main person starts by herself. The new video comes in. And the new video comes in. By the way, my computer may be a bit slow, so it cannot catch up with the videos playing in real time. But when you actually export your video, it's all going to be playing smoothly and nicely, So just to make it, even more obvious, I'm going to actually introduce a 4th person in here, right? So after this 3rd person came up, a few seconds later, I want to bring a new person in here. So they're going to appear at the bottom right here, no problem. Go to the media library again. Let's find, for example, this lady here. Just put it on the timeline. Of course, it covers the entire screen because it's the original size of the video. So again, the same strategy. I want to go to the point where they need to be in the clip exactly with the finished position, right? So I'm going to just resize the video clip to take up a corner here, a quarter of my screen. Notice that my video aspect ratio in this case is not the correct one, so it's not so tall. Again, you can play with this intentionally and create some kind of a you don't have to have a perfect grid. You can make some videos smaller, some larger. Let's imagine you want to assemble a Zoom meeting with multiple people and have them all on the screen at the same time. Like the Zoom grid. So there you go, you can do it like this. But anyway, I want this one to actually be equal size. So I'm going to scale this up all the way here so that the person is in the screen. I actually want to make them a bit larger to match the head size, right? So if you have video shot in different angles and different cameras and distances, some people may have a smaller head than the other. So here's a tip for you. If you want to have them all talking on screen at the same time, at least you can do is just try and get the head size kind of the similar, so they not appears like some people are, smaller than the other ones. So in this case, look, this person kind of should be this large, right? So again, I'm going to move her down here because I can't go any further than this, and zoom out a bit and play with the cropping, right? So I'm just going to crop it here, all the way here like that. So now this fourth person is obviously on screen. Now, again, I need to scale the other lady at the top. I need to scale her up a bit because now she's being covered by this fourth video. So I'm going to go back in here, and this is the point where I animate both of them. First of all, the new person coming in is obviously going to have to use an animation that comes in from the bottom. So here's the final point right here. But I want to go back here in the starting point and leave my playhead in there. Click on this video and arrows, shift moving down. This person is going to go off screen. So now when the animation plays, this person is going to slide in from the bottom. And finally, at the same time, I want to add a new animation to the lady, which is the first track I had, custom animation here, matching that. And here, of course, at the end of the animation, that person is going to possibly resize a bit like this and slide up a bit and possibly use cropping to crop the bottom of the clip like so. So now let's see what's happening. We again have that a little bit of a disconnect maybe here. So let me zoom in here again. So you notice the extra black space, which means the second video needs to come in a bit early. Notice the duration of both animation is the same. That is important because otherwise, if an animation is running faster, it's going to catch up to the other animation and kind of cover it too early. So if you need to reduce this kind of black area in here, it's probably due to the easing. So you're going to change that to linear. And again, for the other one, make sure your animations are linear. But there still is a distance. But at least that allows you to reduce that by just pulling the animation of the new clip a bit back, maybe 1, 2, or 3 frames, like so. So then it starts a bit earlier and it doesn't allow for that black bar. All right, so let's see. Now this is the final piece of the animation. I'm obviously still got a bit of a black line there at some point, but it may not be too visible. Let's play the animation now. My computer just cannot keep up with this, so I'm gonna just go manually. Here, there's already 4 full HD videos. I think a couple of these are 60 frames per second, so my system is not having an easy time rendering them in real time. So what I'm gonna do is just look, this is still too late. Okay, pull it back a bit. So there you go, the fourth clip comes out and fits perfectly in the same spot. So there you go, this is how you can do it. Playing with the cropping and the resizing and the positioning of clips, you can create these very nice grids, effects, and have multiple people with multiple video streams on the screen at the same time. Then all you have to do is take care of the audio to make sure that they don't kind of speak over each other and so on. But that is probably not a problem if you are recording all of the material to serve that purpose. So there you go. There's another consideration here. Of course, each clip has a different duration, so that you may want to, you know, in real life you probably won't have this problem, but here if I have this problem, then you know I'm gonna just cut it here so they all stop. So you achieve the same, you do the same thing. So I'm just gonna extend this video for a little bit. You achieve the same thing by, if you want to take people out of your frame, right? So if you want to make room for you know, take one person out, they're done talking, they hang up the phone, they need to go out again, you go to the point where they need to be out of the screen. And let's suppose we want to take this man out, the one in the top left corner, and bring this man in the bottom full half of the screen here. So basically what to do is, I'm going to just zoom in a bit here, and I still have video left, but this this man here, the video stream ends, right? So I need to take him out, okay? So to do that, again, very easy. I'm going to put the man who is going to fill half the screen, animate him first. So let's suppose we want to stop here and use a custom animation on the incoming man. All right, so at this point we want to move this easing to linear and use cropping to maximize the area that I have. Okay, I haven't actually cropped it because it's a perfect HD. So in that case, I want to go to resize, resize full height. Okay, pull him onto the left, so just as much as I can here without cropping him out of the screen. And finally use the cropping tool and give back this space right there. So all of this while sitting on the end keyframe of the animation, okay, on the selected clip. So there you go. Watch what happens. Now just give my computer a chance to catch up. Here we go. So now I am playing this and watch what happens. This guy zooms in and moves up and fills exactly half the screen. At the same time, I may want to move the guy who is leaving out of the screen, which means in the same point, I'm going to add another custom animation to the outgoing guy, click on this clip and slide him up. You don't see it because it is covered, but if I disable this video, if I disable this video, you will see what I'm doing here. So I am pushing him up with the arrow keys until he is out of the picture, like so. Turn on this layer again, this track, and also remove the easing to be linear. So here we go. So now one of them is going to slide up and the other one's going to resize and fill that spot. So there you go, like that. Now there is a problem here. You notice that for a while the new guy is covering the other video. In that case, if you have a problem with that because of the easing and the scaling is happening faster than the cropping. That's what it's happening. So you can either move and scale first and then you can zoom in later in 2 operations, or you can add a mask, and I'm probably going to cover that in another video because that could be too long. The point is it's resizing and cropping at the same time. The way to achieve a perfect slide in is to create a mask on that particular clip. So on this clip you create a annotation with a shape mask rectangular like this. You put it on top here, right? And then you go to the resize tool, put it on top here, and this is going to be on top of that, so you can add a new track below, bring that shape in here, and make sure that this shape covers and has a right click on the track mat and use alpha, which means that it's going to apply an alpha effect to the clip below. So watch what happens now. That clip does come in, but it never goes over that area that I have defined for it. So notice now that clip sits perfectly in that spot. That is because this shape creates an alpha track mat, and maybe you've seen alpha track mats in Camtasia before. They basically only show what's inside of the shape. So that makes it possible for you to have this video scaling in the background for a second without getting on top of the other clips. So you can combine that effect. I know it sounds a bit more complex, but you can combine that effect with the resizing and the cropping to make these very interesting animations. So I'm going to play the final video clip. I'm going to actually render this out and play it for you so you can see what actually we ended up with at the end. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy my tutorials. If you have any questions about this video or any questions about Camtasia in general, if you would like to see a tutorial on a specific function, please let me know in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and see you again on the next one.